Darcy and I decided to take a look at South Central Alaska, but we didn't have a real what-to-do plan. So we just kind of decided to be casual tourists and see what happened. We started off by going through the Whittier Tunnel. It's over 2.5 miles through solid rock. It's a lot like being Alice in Wonderland going down the tunnel. But you come out to a boat harbor on the other side that's just full of boats. Being tourists, we decided to go look at the boats. Here's Darcy surveilling the surveillance. A morning walk around worked up a good appetite, so we found a restaurant and did a bit of eating and watched the boats come and go. Eating and boat looking kind of used up Whittier, not much there, so we headed out to Seward. More boats. Being a tourist looked like it was going to be a lot of hard work. This time we got a motel so that we could look at the boats from the balcony on our rooms, and it only cost about as much as the down payment on our house. Phew. We looked out of the front of our hotel at a beautiful mountain and decided to get on the road. As we drove along, we saw glaciers everywhere and decided that we wanted to get a close-up look at one of them. All you have to do is find a trail and start walking. We moseyed along for a mile or so, and bingo, we had a glacier. And the cool, no pun intended thing was, our glacier came equipped with a bear. Well, that's just neat. Back on the road to whatever was next. Well, in order to finish up the day, we decided to stop by that store that has everything. You know, wall mics. Yeah. It was in a nice little Alaskan strip mall, so we pulled in and were in luck. It was open. We started browsing around and were amazed by the selection offered. The customer aisles had floors, almost. There was a well-stocked automotive section where you could even buy your own gas pump if you wanted to, and they had real white wall tires. After picking out a new gas pump, you could go next door into the garden department, and there was a ton of decor items that would suit anybody's taste. My goodness, look at this. Now, think what this planter could do for your front yard. Bet you could get a lot of peonies in that baby. It won't be long till somebody takes this beauty home. Then we eased into the patio section and were struck by this patriotic lounging equipment. My goodness. Where the patio display ended, there was a small flower bed that must have belonged to somebody else like the Boy Scouts. It just didn't look like Mike's normal handiwork. But here we found the off-road display, and all I can say is wow. Mike's off-road stock is a little old, but it was all of proven design. This truck, for instance, could obviously carry a big load, and you could tell it was very experienced. Now here's a good-looking dog sled, and another located conveniently on the roof. You can even get a convertible top for your reindeer. Wow! And there was a mobile home section complete with trash. It's a real turnkey operation. For customer comfort, Mike's has clean and pleasant restrooms located right next to the kitchen supplies. Just look at that dandy selection of appliances. And ladies, there's even a small women's fashion department for you. If you want, you can take all your purchases home in Mike's own truck. Man, what a day. Just a few dollars puts the keys in your pocket. And of course, there's the sign shop. I asked you to look at this inventory of signs. Could you want anything more? And if you want to arouse the old feelings of nostalgia, doesn't this just tighten you up all over? Those were the days. Back on the road. We did have time for a few rounds of Where's Waldo. But Darcy couldn't play very well because she's blonde. And what I mean was she stood out. Our goal was a dog training facility. We were told, no problem, just follow the signs. Yeah, great.
Dog sled racing, or mushing, is a popular hobby and sport all over Alaska. There is a passion and a culture so closely knit around the sport, and the human-dog relationship takes on whole new dimensions. We learned more about this at a facility that trained shelter dogs to be sled dogs. Ananda, the dog handler and musher there, treated us to a well-informed overview of the dogs and the Iditarod.
So it took 28 days to go all the way from Anchorage to Nome. That race is the longest race that dogs run, that we run as people too. It's 1,149 miles.
Another tidbit Ananda shared with us was that the dog sleds helped save lives back in 1925 during the diphtheria outbreak. They proved the only way of getting antitoxin for diphtheria delivered from Anchorage to Nome. She also told the story of Emmett Peters, who started the Iditarod 13 times and finished in the top 10 times, and the funny story that brought about his nickname, the Yukon Fox. It had to do with the required 24-hour layover that racers have to take. He decided to take his at home and sleep there. His wife misunderstood and saw other mushers passing by their house.
Race again because these people are passing him, and she didn't know why he was sleeping. So, needless to say, he didn't get much rest. And he, once he got outside of Ruby a little ways, he decided to curl up in his sled and take a nap because the dogs knew the trail. So he curled up, took a nap. The dog stopped at the next checkpoint. He got out, and the checkpoint attendant asked him, when did he pass the last two teams that he passed? He's like, I'm not sure. So he got the name of the Yukon Fox.
So here are the dogs we saw and were later allowed to meet.
Looks like we got motel space here for 6 dogs.
These are all shelter dogs that are used. They train them to the musher's scent, so they bond for life, and they also train them with commands from puppyhood.
And coincidentally, we got 6 dogs in them. And we'll wind up with Miguel.
We have different positions. The first two are the lead dogs. They're the ones that pick up on the signals more of the musher. They listen to the musher more in detail. The ones in the middle are the swing dogs, and they're the ones that help turn the sled. And then the ones who are at the back are the big burly ones. They're the ones that carry the main weight. With the freight dogs, those would have been your biggest dogs. They could have been pushing 150 there.
Time for exercise. Okay, I'm a dog lover, so I had to pet them. Chris, who claims to not be much of a dog lover, Look what happens when he spends too much time on petting one that he was taken with. Okay, time for us to move on. Walking and driving, not dog sledding.
We headed on toward Homer, but first there was a little stopover at the Kenai River where sockeye salmon were running in full swing. These 12 to 13 pound fish hug the shore, so you really only have to cast about 15 feet. There's a fish. They put up quite a scrap. Watch this. You just cast out, let it drift, and when you feel a bump, strike. Fish on. And the guy on the cell phone nets the fish. Multitasking. Again, you just let it drift and wham, get the net. Never mind, no net needed. I think his mom said, "Now don't get your waders muddy." And that's a good lad. Clean everything up shipshape. Then walk into a sea of mud. Squish. Squish, 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 squish. Okay, got the rod and the fish. Oops, that hand's a little muddy now. Just wipe it on a rock. Good as new. Okay, rod and fish. Now just gotta get out of here. Boy, fishing sure is fun. He's on his way home and we're headed for Homer. Off in the distance is Homer's Spit. If you follow the spit to its end, that is the most westerly point that you can drive in continental North America. A little handy tip there for you travelers. No long-term parking here, only 7 days. Geez, that's barely time to get lunch. No, not what you're thinking. They're talking about halibut. Guess you can pose next to that if you want to. I'll bet they got that at Walmike's. The Salty Dog Saloon. Want some advice on how to decorate your man cave? Just look at the plush decor in here. There's the front door and there's where it starts. Money, money everywhere. All signed by whoever stuck it up there. You walk in and just